Welcome to In the Frame. During your visit you may be met with explicit language and references, and spoilers throughout. You have been warned.
Hello, welcome to In the Frame. We are the opinion nobody asked for, and this week we're going to be talking to you about Fight Club. I'm Rodeo, I'm going to be your host today, and as usual I'm joined by Dan, Sam and Will. So Dan, do you want to give us a quick synopsis for Fight Club?
Can I just say you just broke the first rule of Fight Club?
Oh shit.
There's an office worker that has a bit of a midlife crisis and it ends up getting slightly out of hand.
That kind of sums it up, really.
Yeah.
Well, I love this film. It's one of my favourite films. I think it's a postmodern masterpiece. So what was everyone's first impressions?
First impressions.
I'm impressed by the postmodern thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well smart, me.
I'm not even sure I know what that means.
I can define it for you.
No, I'm
Using
alright.
theories from Jean Baudrillard. I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Will, first impressions, go on.
It's fucking amazing. I was trying to think of some cons for it when I was watching it, and it was pretty fucking hard. Great editing, great acting, script is amazing. Keep saying amazing.
Well, it is amazing.
Because it is.
Yeah.
I was trying to find some cons with it as well.
Yeah.
While watching through it, I was like, there's got to be something we can bitch about with this film.
I
But
think there's nothing I don't like about it. I just love it.
It's also got meatloaf in it, which is,
It's got Meatloaf and Jared Leto.
yeah.
It's got meatloaf in a fat suit made out of birdseed.
And I would like to point out the quotable thing about Meatloaf. Bob has bitch tits.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great quote. What was your first impression, Sam?
I'm trying to remember the first time I watched the movie because it was a long time ago and I've seen like 15 times or something since. But it's just a roller coaster. The entire movie you're just playing catch up and it's amazing. And then when that moment happens that everybody always talks about, you just can't believe it. And then instantly watch it again straight afterwards. I've never come across a film that's had this much rewatchability. So
That's
good.
true. Which is really impressive because of the massive twist as well.
I watched it for the first time, I think about 6 months ago. All the way through, you're thinking like, well, I don't really know how these two are connected or whatever, but the only reaction that I could actually sort of fathom at the end was just sort of mind blown.
It flopped at the box office as well.
I know it did.
Got
Yeah,
bad
which
reviews
is-
from all of the major critics.
They're just
I'm
jealous.
surprised by that.
Yeah, it's become a cult classic.
They're jealous.
Yeah, they're jealous. They're not that awesome. No one likes critics. Everyone loves Fight Club.
Rewatching it again though, there was one thing I picked up on that I didn't pick up on the first time I watched it, which was that the soundtrack is really cool.
Yeah.
There's a
I
lot
saw
of
that as well.
electronic beats going on that just really work with the pacing of the movie. It really adds a lot to the tone. Really enjoyed
Sums
that.
the 90s up pretty well.
Well, I think Finch is always really good at actually working in awesome music to his films.
Yeah.
I think that's something he's done with every film I've seen by him.
And this is early on in his career as well. Well, we're not going to talk about Alien 3, but so if you think of this as his second movie just straight after 7, like what a second movie to release.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
You must be well chuffed.
Yeah.
Did anyone, I'm not going to say guess because that's impossible, but did anyone have like an inkling of the twist before it happened the first time you watched it?
Not a clue.
No.
No, and it's so annoying watching it the second time because they tell you exactly what the twist is within the first, 30 seconds of the film.
All throughohout the film, they're actually
Yeah.
telling you exactly what's happening, but of course you don't realise.
Oh, when I watched it for the second time, that really dogged me off.
What?
There is a big thing with advertising in this movie, though, that a lot of people have criticised. A lot of the time you think it's kind of a joke, it's meant to be kind of like satire, but at the end of the day, they're still advertising a lot of products in this movie.
Then I think it's being self-referential by doing that because a big theme in this film is kind of simulacra and the fact that everything is a copy of a copy of a copy, so
Yeah.
everything is mass-produced. It's like there's that quote about the little glass bowls that all have the bubbles and the imperfections.
Imperfections, yeah.
So you know that they're handmade by the people of wherever.
But they could have made up brands and used them. The fact that they use real ones, still people think it's kind of pandering to an extent. And then you do wonder where the budget for this movie came from.
Yeah, as I say, they need to make the money somehow.
Yeah, there's one shot in particular which is just not necessary at all, which is of the giant Pepsi machine when he's running down the corridor. The framing is on him running down the corridor, and it just pans out slightly so you can see the Pepsi machine as he runs past it. It's not really necessary. I just feel like moments like that, if you do look at it, you're just like, this is a lot of advertising.
I don't know. I still think that's a really interesting part of the film. I think it's woven in really nicely, and the fact that it's so self-referential and it's something that is talked about throughout the film. I just think if it didn't have that in it, it wouldn't be complete. Like, it's ironic that it's in there, and
Yeah.
I think that really lends to the tone of the film, really.
Interesting.
Going back to what you said, what's Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
I said simulacra or simulacrum. Is that what you mean?
Ah,
Yeah.
Who's
what was
that?
Okay, so simulacra is basically an image or representation of someone or something without a substance. So it doesn't have any qualities of the original, really. It is purely a copy of a copy of a copy. So it's lost all meaning. It's just
Trent
something.
Reznor quote.
Exactly. It's something just mass produced. You know, that's why I referenced the glass bowls with the imperfections. They're just mass produced, and they've lost all meaning because the fact that they're made by the people of wherever is irrelevant. They're just a mass produced piece of crap. And so our feelings towards them, they're like simply fed to us by our rapid media consumption.
How long ago did you write this essay?
Fuck off. No, it's like serious nihilistic shit.
That's some clever shit right there. I mean, when we turn up and host this, we're just like, yeah, turn up. Yeah, it's a good film, wasn't it? Yeah, let's talk. She's got fucking notes.
No, don't tell them I have notes. I want them to think I'm naturally clever.
It's not notes, it's an essay, mate.
No, it is notes. They've got subheadings. I've got nihilism, bricolage, pastiche, simulacra.
My notes don't have paragraphs. They have like maybe one line of text and then the
Pictures.
picture.
I want to talk about the fights.
There's fights in it?
Like, come on, even the narrator references that sound of skin slapping against the floor.
Yeah.
It's very visceral. It's really cool. The fight sequences are really realistic.
Yeah, they are. They're
That's
brutal.
That's because the first fight sequence where Brad Pitt first says, "I want you to punch me in the face," that was real.
Yep.
Fincher told Ed Norton to just punch him in the face. And he didn't tell Brad Pitt that was going to happen.
Oh, not Brad.
I know.
He missed as well.
Yeah, I know. He punched him in the
The
ear.
ear,
So, I
which
mean,
is
that was
great.
improv, which was fun.
I think it really adds to that scene. When you know that and you watch it back, you can actually tell that it's real.
Yeah.
And the way he reacts, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's another thing. It's actually a really funny film as well as
Yeah.
being really clever and brutally nihilistic.
Like the
Like,
bit,
the comedy's great.
like the bit when Brad Pitt's having a go at everyone. And he's saying that they're all telling, like, there's too many people there. They're obviously breaking the rules of Fight Club. And then after that, he's like, you have a homework assignment. We'll start a fight with some stranger. And then after that, it's all quite comedic. When they're all
that's
trying
so
to start
funny.
fights with people.
That was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he's like spraying the priest guy with the hose on the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
And he
Love
sounds
it.
like,
Brilliant.
And then there's the classic line, slide. Penguin. Love the penguin.
yeah. I was going to say the CGI in the film was like really good. Like really well done. Or all the bits where the camera shoots down to underground.
Yeah, or like
Like,
the sex
really
scenes in it as well. They're like,
Yeah, that was
that's
crazy.
some like hardcore special effects.
Boy,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
that was some edgy shit.
That's
there.
like the most stylized sex I've ever seen.
Sucks.
Pixar go X-rated.
Going back to what you said about the fight scenes and sound design for the fights are really realistic. I thought overall the sound design was so detailed and really
Gritty.
Textured.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done.
I really like how the narrator's voice is so monotonous, and then you have that layered over all of the kind of really textured sound design. It kind of just makes a really interesting dynamic.
Were you trying to guess who's going to win when you were watching the fights?
No, because it's not about who wins and loses, as the narrator says.
It's about getting sleep.
Yeah, it's about, being in the moment and feeling anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when we're not in a fight, the whole rest of the world, sort of the sound just turns itself down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
so
ever been in a fight, Dan?
No.
I've been in
You
a
wouldn't
fight.
understand.
No way.
I want to fight.
It's all about the casting. Casting in this movie is amazing.
Fucking love the casting.
Spot on.
I really like when Tyler Durden is like wandering around doing a speech in the house, and he says the word rock stars in part of this speech, and at that moment he happens to look directly at Jared Leto.
Jared Leto just has a hard time throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really struggles.
Bless him.
I mean, to be fair, it's not as bad as Meatloaf. I don't know if you noticed in that scene, that is one of the moments where they do make a mistake. They bring him in, they go, someone shot Bob. They bring him on a table, and he's just like, this guy has a name. And then the guy who said someone shot Bob, or the guy next to him says, we don't have names in Project Mayhem. But they
yeah.
literally call him Bob when they bring him onto the table.
Or maybe they're just kind of shitting themselves after that, like, shit, Tyler's going to fucking kill us now. Or, well,
Yeah.
no, he's not going to kill them, he's just going to cut off their balls.
Yeah, I love the cult vibes.
When I first watched it, the first time I watched it, I kind of felt like there was going to be something a bit weird and unexpected about it. I don't know why I thought that, but for some reason I thought that Helena Bonham Carter's character was going to be, like, imaginary or something.
I thought that as well.
Yeah,
I thought she was
Yeah.
going to be the make-believe one.
Yeah, I thought she wasn't real. I hadn't, like, heard anything about anyone not being real. I just kind of thought she wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think she's kind of presented in a really interesting way. She seems like she's not part of the rest of the world, in a way.
I was just surprised at how much soap they actually fit into the movie. When I saw the cover, I was like, it's going to be about soap or what? And there was actually loads of soap in the movie.
There's so much soap.
And it's pretty cool soap. Nice bar of soap.
Would you use that soap?
Well, apparently it's the best.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But would you use it knowing that it's made of, like,
I feel
fat
like this
people fat?
argument could be made for a lot of household items.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
true.
But what you were saying about Helen Bonham Carter's character, I agree with you, because when she's walking across the street, she's just like casually walking, and all the traffic is avoiding her and stuff. It kind of seemed like she was not really there.
Yeah.
But I know he says that she's, doesn't give a shit.
Well, I mean, she's so completely self-destructive
Yeah,
that
yeah.
she doesn't give a shit at all.
She tests fate and she doesn't care.
I think it's probably just the fact that we're kind of seeing everything in this film through this guy's viewpoint, and he's kind of idolized her in a weird way, despite the fact that he kind of hates her, or one half of himself kind of hates her.
Oh, there's the bit where Brad Pitt's in the bath. Yeah, Ed Norton's doing his nails, cutting them ready for the fight.
No, he's putting plasters on his hands.
Or something,
And he's,
yeah.
like,
and Brad
putting-
Pitt's just like complaining about women. And he's like, I wonder if another woman is really what we need. And he looks over at Ed Norton and puts the flannel over his head and leans back. And then you have like the constant references to, is that what a man looks like? When you have all the Gucci adverts and stuff like that on the bus and things like that. There's a little theme flowing through, yeah.
But then if it is just him,
Well, that's the thing. That's what you can read into.
Is it gay if you have sex with yourself?
exactly.
What's the quote? You know the quote
Oh,
I mean?
yeah, self-improvement is
It's
masturbation.
That's it.
Yeah.
I've now got a great comeback for when a life coach tries to talk to me.
I really like how this film is kind of just an amalgamation of so many different genres and different things. I think it's probably very intentional because it's kind of mirrored in everything we see around us, because everything we see is kind of just an amalgamation of different bits of advertising and different things that are a certain way because of what media says to us. So I really like the way they've kind of combined different things in the film to mirror that.
I mean, one of my favourite moments is that plot twist. And I love the narration over that sequence. It's just amazing. Where he's, mimicking all of the aeroplane stuff that happened earlier on in the movie. Mm. So he wakes up one morning and Brad Pitt's not there anymore. Sad times. So he finds a load of old ticket stubs in a drawer and basically ends up travelling around America to try and find out where Tyler has gone. He even says he feels like he's chasing the Invisible Man. He gets to one place and there's a guy behind the bar who's clearly been in a lot of fights. And he references the narrator as Tyler, and his head starts to spin. And he uses the line, fasten your seatbelts and please put your seat to the upright position. Like plane's ready to take off.
Yeah.
And then he runs into the room and Brad Pitt appears, so chill, shaved head. And he sat there and he's just like, basically we're the same person. And then you hear that like, we've just lost cabin pressure. It's such a clever way of revealing a plot twist.
I think that is the best plot twist reveal I've ever seen in any film.
I agree, fully agree. And then the best thing about it is the movie actually gets better after you know.
I feel like Brad Pitt disappears because the narrator is kind of becoming more like the Tyler Durden side of himself. So up until that point, he starts off being really chill. He's the kind of office worker, IKEA kind of personality.
With the midlife crisis. And then throughout the film, up until the point Tyler disappears, he's kind of getting more and more like Brad Pitt's version of Tyler.
This all happens just around the time that they do the car scene, just after Bob dies. And that's where you can see that he actually just gives in. He lets go of the wheel.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it's that same night, the next morning, Tyler's gone.
Yeah.
I love the part where he goes to the police station. He's finally just given up. He's given in. He realised what he's done. And then you sit around the table and the police are like, we admire your courage, sir. We really like what you're doing. And you're like, oh my God, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An impending sense of hyperreality builds.
Then you have that amazing music choice at the end. And the buildings exploding and that just great final line that just sums up the whole movie.
You met me at a really weird time in my life.
So good.
Mm.
So good.
A crescendo of destruction.
But on the topic of quotes, there are some amazing ones in this movie. I love the one where he first actually speaks to Marla and she finishes off his sentence for him, you know, when they're like pretending to hug. And he's just like, what are you getting out of this? He's just like, the thing is, when people know they're dying and she finishes the line, they actually really listen instead of waiting for their turn to talk. Pretty profound.
I think that's another reason the first time I watched it, I wondered if she was just a figment of his imagination. Because he kind of seemed like he needed an imaginary friend. You kind of got that sense even the first time you watched it, I thought.
Another quote from Marla was when she's walking down the street and Ed Norton comes out of the taxi to see her and she just goes, here comes another avalanche of bullshit.
Yeah.
So good.
Awesome.
It's one of my favourite lines in the movie. I mean, it just constantly hits crescendo, so you just never get a chill moment in this movie.
So do you think Fight Club could actually happen in real life?
It's a middle finger to society, so I think it's what a lot of people would want to happen. Whether it gets to the point where it would get this far, it's debatable.
Is it one of those things where everyone kind of wishes it would happen a little bit, but no one actually wants to do anything about it?
Well, I don't want to stand outside someone's house for 3 days just so I can get a bed.
Yeah,
No,
fuck
bollocks
that.
to that.
Yeah, fuck that.
I think it's interesting how everyone loves Fight Club so much, and yet it completely challenges our whole existence, really. I mean, it's kind of basically saying everything we do and everything we own and the things we strive for in life are bullshit. So it's interesting that everyone kind of loves Fight Club so much and obviously relates to it to a degree.
Do you mean it's like kind of contradicts itself?
No, I don't think it contradicts itself. I think we contradict ourselves by loving it so much and yet live with our creature comforts and all that kind of thing.
Like even after watching the film, saying how all this furniture, how all these possessions and that are just bullshit, you don't need them.
You emptied your house then?
No. And people really love the film, we still sort of want more of that stuff, don't we? So.
Well, yeah, I mean, the film is kind of saying that as a society, we kind of lull ourselves into a false sense of comfort and fool ourselves that our lives have meaning simply because we can't accept it doesn't actually have meaning. And we're just living in complete futility. But, I mean, I'm comfy, so that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of my comfy chair.
Cool. So, I mean, there's a lot of awesome films in the world. I think this is one of them. So
Die Hard is another.
very true.
Fuck
But
yeah.
what's everyone's awesome factor?
Awesome factor.
Out of 5 still, yeah?
Yeah.
6.
Oh, well, I'll be more serious and give it a 5 out of 5. Where are you guys?
Easily a 5. Easily.
This is the one time when I might actually agree with Sam and go with 6.
Yeah, fair play. I'd give it a 6 if I could. So
Yeah, Will, playing it
not?
safe.
should we all just
Shut
give
up.
it a 6?
Fine.
Should we give it a 6 out of 5?
6 out of 5 for
6
awesome
out of 5.
factor.
Awesome.
Overall rating.
Yeah, it's easily a 10 out of 10 for me. I think there's nothing I don't like about it. It's funny, self-referential, very intelligent and challenging, and just freaking awesome. And so watchable. Just freaking love it. It's 10 out of 10.
Am I going to watch it again now?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll give it a 10 as well. Definitely
Yes,
up there with Incredibles 2.
Yep.
In terms of an overall rating, I don't think it's going to drop below a 10 for us, really, is it?
I thought it was actually, it was fucking amazing. It was great.
Yeah, so it got the perfect score. Well done,
Yeah,
Fight Club.
All round tenner.
We've come for that time of the show where it's time for Dan to make an appearance. Dan shit impressions.
Slide,
Slide!
slide,
Slide!
slide, motherfucker.
Cool. So thanks for joining us this week for our review of Fight Club. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe because we release new episodes every single Friday, available on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Hit the notification bell. Drop us a comment if there's any films you'd like us to talk about, and you never know, we might even do it one day. But yeah, that's all from us. Toodle pip.
Teddy bye.